I mean, I mostly got set up ahead of time, but I think we're doing okay today. Welcome back. So today we have a Toyota Tacoma, which has some more difficult back window cutouts. Not the most fun to do, but we're gonna test some patterns to see if they work on the back. The front doors are pretty straightforward. The back doors have that typical round, just like we did on the Rams. And then, like I said, the back glass, things get a little bit tighter. I think the back doors, too, might be a little bit more unique than even the Rams on the back doors. So, but some funny stuff on that. We'll check it out in person, close up, and see what we're dealing with here in a little bit. Welcome. How you guys doing? Attending my parents' house today? Nice, very nice. Flat windows. That is not my specialty. Just never learned that one. I did one last week. Pre-cuts for the back window was perfect. Sweet. Did you use film cut? As long as we're on the same page, that's awesome. Here we go. Gonna plot. Yeah, just the back window. This is one of the good ones. Oh yeah, we're doing a windshield too. Full windshield. So 5 on the very back, 20 on the front doors, 35 on the full windshield. Let's go. All right, so I guess we'll just get started then, right? We got a fair amount of work to do today, especially whenever we do a full windshield. Use flex cut. Oh, well then. Glad to hear it. What are you doing for advertising? This is a big part. This is a huge part of marketing. So it's part fun and part marketing and a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know where to put this. I need a coat hanger. I guess I'll just put that there. I was trying to clean up some of the stuff before I went live today. Organize some of the stuff back there. It's still like, it's too much space here. I like it and I don't. It's just, I put stuff over in the corners and I get to it later and the next thing I know, it's just a giant mess. But that's okay, right? That's fine. That's okay. And then I misplace all my tuck tape and, oh, it was right here the whole time. You see? Too much space. Okay, so interesting thing about these is just like the Rams, you notice this swoop, and then this will fall out of the back edge. I have to roll them up a little bit to see exactly what we're dealing with. Sometimes they're a little bit more rounded on the front and on the back corner, so we could have a little back and forth there. And then when you get on the inside of this dude, lot slimmer on here. So the top is good. This is a pretty, I don't know, it's pretty exact. You don't have a dot matrix border. It's just glass. This is very, very typical Tacoma here. The bottom border is okay, except when you get like right along here. So you have enough room to tuck all this stuff, and we don't have a tonneau cover in the back either. So if we need to, we'll just hop in here, we'll cut it out, we'll spend a little bit more time making sure that that all goes right. But trying to cut it out on the inside is just going to be a little bit more difficult, unless you have a plotter. So then we just cross our fingers to see if the patterns actually line up or not. But you guys know how that goes. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. So if they're not good, we'll waste some film, but if they are good, then we save some time. So that little trade-off right there. Super fun. What's the name of the Facebook group? Window tint stuff. It's got about 32,000 people in it right now. There should be a link in the description too. It'll take you right there. Race deck flooring? Yeah, it's from Race Deck. It's been going good. I like it. I've followed some other people that have been doing different colors and stuff. Most people end up going with darker ones, and I would suggest, like, if you're putting it on the floor, it's gonna get dirty pretty quick. So the dark gray and the black, those are pretty safe colors. Those hide a ton. The green that I have here, that gets a little bit more dirty. How much did I spend though? Was like $4.50 a square foot. So it's not cheap. But it kind of, so it's, if you look into all types of other flooring, I mean, even good epoxy is expensive too. Epoxy is expensive. This is honestly, like, it's $4 or $5 a square. I think like $4.50 a square, plus you got shipping. Well, compared to a lot of things, it's you need something durable, so it's actually not bad in comparison to everything else. So a space like this is going to be like a few grand. Wow, we just messed up that too. It's one of those things where you're like, man, so tired of looking at my floor, but it can be a tough pill to swallow initially, but when you have it in here, man, you'll geek out over your own floor. Plus, you can take it with you. Yeah, that's a good point. I did. Yeah, so I was in the same boat. The house that I first started doing the tint studio out of, that was a thought in the beginning. Was like, well, you know, we'll be able to take it with us when we're not going to stay here. I figured it would be a little bit longer than that, but it turned out to only be like four months or so before I had to yank the floor out and take it with me to here. And then I added to it. So the green section is kind of the space I was dealing with before, and then I built it out even farther. So that kind of gives you some perspective. Like, it was really cool to just be able to, you know, like, do some now, do some later. But when I was gonna do epoxy up front, and I don't know, I think I might just do some dark carpet or something. I'm on the fence because I got a 20 by another like $3-ish grand to like do all up front, and yeah, I can take it with me. But again, I just don't exactly know what I'm gonna do with it. Or I could spend like $1 grand and just have somebody come in and carpet the front and make it look nice enough. So we might end up doing that. Can't take it with me, but there's a big difference right there. So these ones, interesting enough, they have fabric right up here. So I want to try and cover some of this. So just, you know, it's going to get a little wet, but just so it's not all soaking all of this. I hate that. And then you can't dry it out fast enough, and then the panels are a little wet when it leaves. It'll be fine. Like, they'll dry and they'll look totally fine, but just little extras to try and make sure that, you know, it's nice when it leaves is always good. It's always a good thing to do. So tomorrow we might be doing a stream. What is today? Is today Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday. We might be doing a stream on a minivan. Either tomorrow or the next day. I'm not quite sure yet. but we ended up getting a Sienna. So I have to do some stuff with that. I should fix this. Yeah, I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna get just a little bit closer. Yeah, there we go. Much nicer. Cover all of that. It's probably the same thing for here. I'm still working on trying to get these as straight as I can while I'm holding the roll, but it doesn't always work. Ta-da! Nice. Key. We put it in the spot. Joy. Boop. Off. Maybe radio off too. Raise this up. Oh, okay. So we can take a look. Front doors. That's kind of significant. Also, you have this play in the window. See how fast that edge drops off? That's something that you might not normally notice if you just like cut it, generally round it, slide it all the way back, and you're kind of facing here, you don't really see it as much. But when you're facing this side, you can see this window shifts a little bit, and then that falls out. So your round's going to have to just drop off really, really quickly. Oh, cool. I was just making sure stream was okay. We're having, weather got warmer, but I'm kind of sad because weather is taking a turn right now, and it seems to really affect the stream just like it did last year. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Stickers. Oh, we forgot the other side. So on this, we have a decent, kind of just rounds this way, not bad, and then this drops off. This is just like the Ram, so we're gonna cut, and then just gonna make sure we extra round it when we get into there, because you can even see the white from that tape here. Ooh, yeah, see? Look at that, look at all that play in that window. Just down that way. So just keep those things in mind when you're cutting these. They'll be slightly different from a regular truck. Tacomas, what is the other one? I don't know. There's a handful of Toyota truck vehicles that all have like similar things like that. Do you think Toyotas and certain other vehicles have stickier glass than other cars? Yes, they do. We'll see today. I don't think Toyota has been one of the ones that stand out. Toyota has generally been really good. And a lot of the other, Japanese car makers, they've been good. Like, randomly, domestic vehicles will be kind of sticky. And then when you get into, I don't even want to say Audi necessarily, but like Range Rovers have some hydrophobic coatings, but there's just some brands that are definitely stickier than others. Why do you think that is? I have no good answer on that one. VWs are tacky? Yeah, I'd agree with that one. I don't know. I don't have a good answer. Just different glass manufacturing processes, different factories. Who knows exactly? But yeah, there's definitely those issues where some windows will just slide really easily, and then other ones will just stick like crazy. You usually can tell when you spray the window and just watch how the glass or how the water beads on the glass. But yeah, I think Jag's one that you'll have kind of a hard problem with too. I just don't get a lot of them. Not super common here. What is it? What was factory tint? I didn't meter the back of this one. I can guess though. I'm gonna guess like 25 to like 28. Then we could throw a meter over the back and see before we slap some film on it. Because there's a lot of people that'll just blanket 20% on, like, everything's factory 20, and that's not true. So whenever it comes to like somebody asking, I swear it always happens. I don't do a lot of just front doors here. I really don't. I do more full vehicles, windshields, and just, yeah, than anything, which is super cool. But when a lot of times I get front door requests, and they're on stuff like Audis or Toyotas, and I'm just like, man, I don't like doing front door matches on those, just because, like, I can put like a 35. It's like, which one do you want to do that'll be slightly off? I got 35, and I have 20. How's Apex been so far? I haven't played around with it much since I put it on my own vehicle. It's a couple little issues with it right now. I ended up pulling the windshield, but they'll get the issues fixed. It was just with the 50 so far, on the windshield that I had an issue, but yeah, I want to try some other films before I talk too much about it. Place your bets. Oh, okay. We're gonna go over there. We'll get a meter before we know it. Ooh, could we do a poll? No, I don't want to set up a poll. I was gonna say I could set up a poll. So there we go. Tint meter. Let's see what this is. What do you guys think? Well, you guys think about it for a minute. I'll grab a sip of coffee. Do you think it's going to be 25, 28, 20? What do you think? Think those are 27. T-Town says 27. Riley says about 25. Within a few percentages isn't going to be anything major anyways, because this thing could be like 1 or 2 off. I don't know. This is just had this meter for a long time. So let's see. 28. It's 28. There you go. 27. Oh, wait. It moved to 27. So I guess it depends on there. It'll pop back and forth between 27 and 28, which is like, it's right in that middle. I hate that. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just, I have 20 and I have 35. So if you put 35 over it, that'll be pretty close, but I swear, 35, it looks decently lighter. And then when you put 20, that's just way darker. So in that case, it's good to have like a 30. I used to carry a 30 through another company when I was mobile, just for ones like this, because it was super common. It was just we were running into it way too much. Where, okay, they brought it in for a match. Now they got to ask them, do you want it to be a little bit lighter or a little bit darker? The craziest was that BMW that was 35. But this is one of those good things to know, especially when you're newer. It's just, factory is factory, right? But it's not the case. Factory is made by many different companies all over the world, and the automaker can request a different percentage if they want. Some I've seen as dark as like 15. Like Cadillac, GMC. I've noticed like some of their bigger SUVs, sometimes they were metering as dark as 15. And it's like, whoa, really? So that's about as dark as I've ever seen, but shut up, Siri.
Sorry, I'm still not sure.
Okay, I get it. Shut up now. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Did I really just do that? There's like... Oh, it's that quick, too. I'm sad. There's 2 little slight wrinkles. No, those are permanent. Whatever. It's gonna be that day. It's gonna be that day. Let's cut them out again. Oh, dumb mistake. It is what it is. Try and squeegee them down. And then it just rolled on itself a little weird. And then put 2 small impressions right in the middle of the door. If you put that on the inside and you squeegeed it down, you could hide them, but you're always going to have the impressions in the film. And on the door, yikes. That's not going to be good. We don't like that. Yeah, it's such a simple little dumb thing to happen. Oh well, at least we didn't get all that far. My Tacoma came with front tint and it matched pretty well. That makes a lot of sense. So in Florida, 30 is generally like what? That's the legal limit in Florida. So being that this is 28, you know, if they just installed 30, that's like about as close as you're gonna get. So, makes sense. 30 and, what is the other one? 30 and 15, I think. That's what most people get down there. Okay, that. Do stock factory tint work, or are they just for looks? Well, just like color stable film, yeah, they're for looks. Hope you're not paying for $100 for 2 fronts, unless it's ceramic. I start my regular film at $100 for 2 front doors, so. All right, there we go. This has a little bit more curve to it. For being a truck, we'll have a little bit of shrinking to do. Mirror gets in the way. $100 at the shop I work at, get you carbon. That's fine. Everybody's got different prices. Prices also vary a lot based on territory, like where you are in the country. Sometimes you can get it cheaper down south than you can up here, but there still are people all over the place. selling it for any number of prices. But quality of film, carbon is carbon, ceramic, dyed. I mean, those are just categories. You can have any number of qualities for each one of those things. So I'm gonna guesstimate this, and then we're gonna put it up on the window and then see, because we're gonna have to, we're gonna jump back and forth a little bit, make sure that cut's really close. But you know, it depends. I like if you're a just higher production shop, front doors, carbon, $100 makes a lot of sense. Because it's just like you have so much, like especially if you have a lot of volume. I mean, it's your bread and butter. Just get them in, get them out. Move on to the next one. Do front doors all day. You make generally more off of just doing front doors than you can off of full cars. I mean, with time, you can just make a lot more faster if all you had to do is front doors all day. Is this live now? No. I know a shop in Texas that charges $550 to $600. Oh, I think I know the one you're even talking about. Front doors are the true quick, easy money. Very true. All right, that's looking pretty good. That's looking really good. Just want to make sure. I'm going to do one little end. $400 for a 4-door, but after tax about $450 at my shop. Nice, very nice. That's great. Is it illegal to tint the windows in all states? No. No, it's just every state has different laws on percentages. So some of them are dark, or some of them allow darker, some of them allow lighter, some of them don't allow anything. It's up to you to look into those and figure out what's okay in your state and what's not. There we go. Dang, I'm gonna knock this over. So normally I would cut these out sideways with a 36, but because I have a 40, get that extra 4 inches. No problem. No problem doing this up and down off of a big roll right on the car. Is $100 for the windshield a good deal? Sure. But I mean, you can get a full car. You can get a full car for $100 from some people too. But, I mean, I don't really... I know so getting a deal on tint isn't the same as getting a deal on a good phone or a computer or a lot of other things. Like when you're talking about tint, there's different materials, quality, and skill. Skill is a big thing. So you can have a good film and a terrible install. or you can get a good install and get cheap film. So when you're looking for a deal, the things that usually come to mind are people that price themselves too low, generally don't provide super great service, quality of work. It's more about higher production. So if you don't care as much, you just want a quick in and out job, those places are great for that. That's what they cater to. It's not that they can't, it's just generally speaking, they don't. Because you'll find out cheap prices mean that you have to do more work, and then you don't have time to take care of those people as well as you could if you could slow down a little bit more. So, but there's bad shops all over the place. So trying to get a good deal on tint is like, depends on what you're shopping for. And then even after that, if you get a good job, is it going to last? Because that's just going to be more expensive down the road. So yeah, see, we got that round. That comes down there. So really, we could cut all the way from about here straight down. I don't know how far we want to go on the sides either. There, let's do this. So on the ram, sometimes what I'll do is I'll cut the flat edge, but this has pretty much one continuous little slope to it. So where all that's really flat is like right in here, and then all this. So cut it on one edge, shift it over, and then when you shift it back, it'll kind of like sneak into the seal a little bit already anyways. Then we're gonna go halfway up there. Can I say no? Because I don't know why. We're doing serious business here. All right, get that to drop out of the seal. Fair amount. That probably is a little too far wide, but we'll see. We'll see how this works out. What's your best tip for cutting a top edge? Hey.
Washington Correa super chatted $5.
Washington.
How much should I
Thank
charge
you.
front 2 doors same truck that you're working on right now, and also what percent should it be to match factory?
Canon. No, please stop asking me to say something. I have no idea why. Washington, thank you so much for the 5. How much should I charge for 2 doors, same truck that you're working on right now? Also, what percent should it be to match factory? Thank you so much for the 5. What great timing for that question. Charge whatever you feel is appropriate. So on something like this, I'll just start them at $100. But that's most front doors. Like my prices for front doors are like 100, 130, 160. It's probably going to change to 100, 150, and 200. but that's what it is right now. And as far as percentages go, you have 28 on the back. So if you do 35, it's going to be just a little bit light. If you do 20, it's going to be a little bit dark. So it's up to you on that one. It's good to have a 30% roll for those reasons, but hey. We did take a meter, and that's what it said. There was some questions about the percentages of this one. So that helps. Get a good idea of what you're working with. Oh, that kind of like a little bit there. Do you let them pay less if they pay in cash? No. No, but so one thing that I heard I think is totally fine is like when you're doing card payments, there's processing fees. So saying something like $10 off for cash to avoid the processing fees, that's totally fine. And there's some little things like that. Like I get the business that we're kind of in. You gonna show me? Dang, that was too quick. So yeah, you're gonna have taxes to pay, but saying something like discounts for cash or whatever, if you're trying to just do things a little bit differently and generate more cash rather than card receipts and stuff like that, then I mean it's totally up to you. I didn't hate the idea of just doing 10 or something small for cash, and believe it or not, that can work really well. But I had somebody on Monday, they were like, they wanted to schedule an appointment for Saturday, and they ended up scheduling. But the job is going to be $370 for a carbon one that I'm doing. And then they asked, they're like, is there any way I could get it for $300 with cash? And I was like, no, that is way past anything helpful. And then I explained that it's going to take like 3 hours to do, and they're like, oh, I didn't know it was going to take that long. We're going to round it just a little bit more. We're pretty close. Yeah, see, that follows this really, really nice all the way around. And then this looks good, but it's probably going to overlap just a little bit. So we're going to round it just a little bit more and take this down. So that way we're not bumping any edges. Boom. There we go. Should be good. Now hopefully we don't screw up these patterns. Oh yeah, I was noticing this. I don't think I cut that all the way at the Sorry for all the back and forth. This is like way dipped down. I just wanted to make sure. Don't you hate that when they say it shouldn't take more than an hour? Yeah, they just had no idea. They weren't, it was just, I thought it was something that was going to take an hour. I had no idea that there was that much work. They were pretty respectful about it, which was nice. But it was a referral from another guy at a gas station. They saw somebody else's truck. They really liked it. They asked where they got it done. And then next thing I know, they're calling me. And they said they got referred by somebody when they were getting gas. It's like, oh, that's super cool. But they had no idea of, it was word of mouth referral. They didn't really look me up in advance. They probably didn't know live streams or anything. So, what's your favorite vehicle to own? I don't know. I just spent a lot of money on a Sienna van. Trying to embrace that. I don't know. For whatever reason, I want to get a Mini eventually, but I don't think there's anything right now that I can think of that I'm like, I love that vehicle, that I want to own. I'm just more distracted by business stuff right now, but I don't know. I'm gonna get my Fusion retinted. Oh, that's cool. I mean, are you asking like what I would charge to do like a removal and everything? That's a big. That sounds like a big project. 2017 Fusion, tinted 20% as clear film on the front, 35 on the rest. One when it was replaced and it's all screwed up. So basically, like an entire removal. It's a big job. Is Avery Dennison good? What should I expect to pay? What should I expect to pay for a tint job? Where are you at? I don't know. Like it changes all over the place. But here, like a full car without a windshield, I've been doing for like $240, and then $320 for carbon, $450 for ceramic. That's with no windshield though. What is that? Is it doing the thing again? Oh, so somebody was asking on their Fusion. 2017 Fusion. Is that with... Oh, I see. That was the same person. My bad. I didn't realize it was the same person asking most of those questions. Cannon. One more question. When you say the front, is there like a full windshield removal, or is it just a removal on the sides and the back? Because full windshield removal adds a lot to the price too as well. So, want a tint, 20, 35 in the front and on the rest. So just be a little bit more specific and I can let you know. Are you in a big city like Detroit? Yeah, like I'm the Motor City area. We got a good sized population around here. Not in Detroit, even though. No windshield. Okay, that helps out a lot. Thank you. Okay, so removals, unfortunately, right now are like $250. I just not a huge fan of even doing them right now. They take up a lot of time, and when you go to remove film, you leave a lot of glue. So you're pretty much at like $490 starting for a full removal and a full retint. If you didn't have film on there and it was just as simple as tinting the rest of the vehicle, that's where that $240 price is. I suppose it should just be $250, but hey, we've been $240 for a while, so it is what it is. That's in color stable dyed, so that's a good film. No heat rejection on that, but you get good aesthetics, lifetime warranty, quality product, and if there's any general issues down the road, we take care of them. but probably could find somebody to do a removal for cheaper right now, though. Removals just suck. See what I did with literally the stickers, like as far as razor room, take off the glue. It's just sheet of glue. What was that? I'm in Missouri. The price would be $240 for a strip and retint in carbon film. I need to move for a bigger city. I think that depends on where you go to. Now, it definitely is population and some other things, like general income that can impact pricing for sure. But with bigger cities also come bigger cost of living. So while, yeah, we do charge more, there is that little asterisk of it's more expensive to live here too. So if it's just less expensive to live where you are, then you definitely see cheaper prices too. But that being said, some of those things definitely do come into play. There's other... I've tinted for plenty of shops that have fought with me tooth and nail on pricing. They said they can't charge over $200 a car, and even at $200 they were having a hard time pulling in people. And then they'd want to charge even less than that. There comes a point when it's actually not price, it's your business. So you have to figure out ways to just attract a higher type of client, because you could be offering prices at $150 and then you have nothing but problems. So I've just seen a lot of that. It's not always where you live, but that does come into play some. Oh, we gotta get I'm forgetting so many little things. Clay bar this. So it's not laminated, and it's pretty new. So this thing should be pretty clean too. So that's nice. I think the last thing that I wanted to do was scrub pad the rest of it. I'm like losing my rhythm here. I like had a handful of windows where I didn't razor, and then I was finding random little sticky bits. It's just real small, kind of in an obscure space. So it's like lately I've been doing everything. Just razor the whole thing. That'll definitely take care of a ton of it. Clay bar the top edge, and then just give it a good scrub down. It's a little excessive, but we're a little excessive here. We want a good job. And we want it as clean as we can get the first time. What's the difference with dark film? It's more dark? I'm not sure the question. You can get carbon, ceramic, and dyed films all in the exact same percentages. The material doesn't really change any of that. It's really about the heat rejection. There's lots of foo-foo marketing. And the tone of the film can be a little bit different. There's definitely a big bump in clarity with a film that's more expensive. Thank you.
Daniel Reyna super chatted $9.99. Kumu Star Master Matt. Salutations from Kern Auto Tint Specialist and Pro Tint Mobile Mister. Geo.
Salutations. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that a lot. How you doing? Things are going pretty good here. Staying busy, not crazy busy, but staying busy enough, which is nice. Trying to enjoy some of this weather before it really drops off. It's gotten cold, but we had some nicer days recently, so we're trying to enjoy some of that too. Thank you for the 10. Is it a bad idea to only offer carbon and ceramic? That's a great question. No, I don't think it's a bad idea at all, but I would look into maybe doing like a carbon, a ceramic, and then maybe like a super ceramic. So we all want to be in an expensive tier and do that all the time, just have big baller jobs all day, every day. But the reality is it takes a long time to get there, or a lot of hard work, or special type of marketing and business. So just offering a carbon and a ceramic will generally can put you in a little bit of a higher tier, but you're just not going to have as many clients in the beginning depending on where all that pricing is. But yeah, getting rid of dyed entirely and just doing those two, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Here in Michigan, heat rejection isn't on everybody's mind, especially when you get into winter. So starting out with something that's, let's say, a 50% heat rejection, and then going to 75 and then like a 90. Down south, I think it might play a little bit better than, let's say, up here, where it's like, oh, I just want tint. And then so it's going from nothing to like 50%. But that being said, the color stable film is at a lower price point anyways, so it allows me to keep prices even a little bit lower than that. I'm still in this interesting realm of people calling and hearing price and then hanging up, or wanting to get their car in same day. You know, that stuff, that all happens to me. My business here has been around since last year, October of last year. So I'm still working at it too. But I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. You always want them to go a little bit better, but hey. When customers ask me about dyed film, I just tell them to go to AutoZone. I never liked it at all. I totally get it. The thing is, you're not... Dyed film is not bad. It's like more frowned upon because of the way that you can see some failures, but you can have quality dyed film and the clarity on it is arguably the best because there's just nothing there to keep from to like mess with your vision. It's just dye. So carbon and ceramic, those are little particles, and the finer that they make them, the clearer the film. So if you are going to do it, high quality one, definitely recommend it, of course. But, you know, if you're a little bit more budget oriented or you're just having some problems, you want to save a little bit money on that, I don't think there's any problem with it. I mean, trying to educate people past just tint is tint, that's come a long way, and you hear about it a lot more now than you used to. It used to just be tint is tint, and then when you talk to somebody about ceramic film, they're not having it. So this bottom seal, we got it tucked in okay. It's a little tighter down there. I was looking at my Sienna. That one looks like it's going to be even tighter than this one. I hate the front quarters on my own. I was looking at those and I'm like, why'd I buy this? Got those sliding back doors with a ton of paneling in the way. Worse than the Caravans. Worse than the Pacificas. Yeesh. Oh well. We'll get it. Have you seen an Acura TL? Yes. That's the TLX or whatever, is it the 4-door? We've done a couple on stream. Unless I'm thinking of the wrong one. Acura, Lexus, and some of those, I don't pay attention to the numbers as much. So like, they have like a lettering scheme for Acura. They have like, like ES350, ES250, this, God, I can't even think of, like RX. So I always have to look them up before I know exactly what I'm talking about. But I think that was the one that we actually did on stream. And don't even get me started on trims. I just started offering ceramic. The people that have got it installed have said it's a night and day difference between the carbon. Nice, very nice. So you get, like, with most carbons, you get about a 50% heat reduction. And so 25% more for ceramic doesn't necessarily sound like a big difference, but it's really the difference between, like, you still feel some with carbon, and then with the ceramic, it's like you just don't feel it at all. It really is. It's really, really nice. But a lot more expensive too. But I think it's definitely worth it. But not everybody's gonna get it. It's just priced high. What's the white tape? This is called tuck tape. It's a house wrap tape. You can find this one on Amazon. We've been using like Lowe's as well. We haven't used it in a little bit, but I still got plenty of rolls of it. So when I run out of this, we'll probably be using that again. It's crazy. Well, I put it on my own personal vehicle. Sweet. I recommend people do that for all their films. Once you, I'll never go back. Yeah. So, I get spoiled driving it, and then you have some hot days, and then you start to think like, man, like I've been driving with it for years, and you sometimes start to think like, man, is it really all it's cracked up to be? Because of everything that I hear, just in comments and whatnot. It's just like, people are talking about all the different films and cheaper ones and this and that and the other thing. And then I go without driving it, or like in a different vehicle for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh yeah. Nope, I hate driving without it. Even like, oh, it's so funny. So we got that van yesterday, and we were driving it around a little bit. And even my wife's like, she's just like, you need to put ceramic on here soon. Because it's just, you can feel the difference when you're in it. And it's not incredibly hot outside. Like, we're wearing jackets, but when you're sitting in the vehicle, driving around, you feel that sun hit your skin. And it's a hard thing to describe without experiencing it. But once you do, it's like you never want to go back. Like riding in a fishbowl with no tint? Yeah. So it's, if you went from no tint to having any tint, you'll really appreciate it. When you go from having any tint to having like a ceramic tint, like there's a big difference there still. Trying to find, where's my, let me grab a new one. Go grab a new blue. I need extras to put on my shelf then. I got a bunch. Where did you get the brass spray nozzle? Sun Distributing. So those are called tint kegs. You can find them at Sun Distributing. They're super nice. It's a 3 or 5 gallon spray tank with high quality brass sprayers. Like they sell just the hose setup, so if you already have a tank, they sell the hose setups with the sprayer. I love these so much more than the plastic ones. Just like just like going from no tint, or just going from tint to having ceramic tint. Going from a plastic sprayer to the brass one, some of you guys don't know what you're missing. Yes, it still is a sprayer, and yes, it will still get the job done. Man, I've cracked too many of those plastic sprayers, and they'll leave you in a horrible spot. The brass ones, they're a little bit smaller, they feel a little bit weightier, and they last for friggin' ever. Looking into putting a plotter on a work fan. Nice, very nice. I always wondered how that go on really terrible roads, like around here. That poor machine would be bounced to hell. But there's a lot of guys that do it. I know Alligator has his in a trailer, and I'm sure he goes down plenty of roads and driveways and whatever that aren't super nice, and his is working great. A lot of guys have them in like the transit vans and stuff like that. So they'll do fine, I think. I just always wonder, like, I want to see one firsthand going down like a Michigan road. Probably put like a damper on the bottom, like a little spongy pad or something to help shock absorb all that shit. Ooh. I've just been looking at like this window as like just tinting it and not paying attention to the shade at all. Dang, this is dark. This looks good though. Look at that. Look at the difference there. And then we'll go through that one. I like it. Looks great. Oh yeah. That glass that I have on the wall is for the older Civics. The hatches that gave everybody a hard time. I'm a little sad because I thought I'd get more of them, and I've probably had about 4. When they came out, like I really don't get a lot of Hondas, but when I saw the number of people posting about them, I was just like, that's going to be a popular Civic, and it is. I just don't see a lot of them. Some places we're getting them all day, every day. But I was a little sad because I couldn't use it more. But I still like having it, so I never have to worry about those ones. They changed up the new hatch, though. I think the new hatch is, like, way uglier. It's just a boring looking car now, where the other ones actually look good. Especially in a trailer, I figured it may be way worse. Many do it though. Yeah. Yeah, I was, I was surprised. Oh, I can crack my window and literally a small small sun line across my face starts to burn immediately. Yeah, if you ever really think, too, that your ceramic film isn't doing enough, just roll down your window, and it's like, ah! And you roll it back up, and it's like, whoa, dang. But it's kind of annoying to explain, too. So you have the heat box demo, and you can throw some numbers at them, and the question that first comes up is like, does this keep my car cooler? And yes and no. If you leave your car sitting out in the parking lot, it's still a metal box that will get hot. So then people are like, well, why would I even bother? And then you say it's a more comfortable driving experience, and then you sound like a crazy person selling snake oil. But then you drive with it, and it's like, oh, I get it now. So, yeah, it's good stuff. I feel like I should move this down just a little bit off that top edge. There. Have you ever seen a Nissan Skyline? That's an old one, isn't it? We worked with somebody that had it. I don't think I've ever had one, though, in person. It reminds me of, like, an Eclipse type back window. And on the Eclipse, the interesting thing about it was you could actually flip a roll up sideways and have a much easier time doing it, shrinking it out sideways, because it was, like, thin. It was, like, it was taller than it was wide. But I don't know if that's the same thing on the Nissan. That just might be a big old bubbly, super fun thing to deal with. Kind of like the old Sebrings and stuff like that, where you just get them and, man, they're just curved. How much do you charge for a chameleon windshield? I don't do it. If you want to find your own material and bring it here, I'll do it. But I don't carry anything that I believe in. I've seen too much crap from all of them. So while they look really cool, there's nothing that I'm confident. There's nothing that I feel confident in carrying that would have any type of reliable quality with it. So it is what it is. And it's unfortunate because, like, there are some really cool memey freaking films and cars out there that, like, are just super eye-catching and whatever. They look great. They do nice on the channel and everything. But so if somebody wants to bring one of those in, sure, I'll install it. But I'm not going to try and carry something. Just brought a new Tacoma TRD off-road. Seeing this prompts me to go get my fronts. Nice. Heads up, we found out that they're 28%. So your back doors are going to meter a little bit lighter. So you're going to want to find somebody that probably has like a 30%. And they might tell you that it's got 20. It's lighter. Tell them to watch the stream if they think different. 35 or 30. 35 is going to be just a little bit light. 30 is going to be real close. So, what was it? I ran into the problem of the bottom being too high and the top of the tint being too low. I don't. On what windows? Sounds like a problem. If somebody's bringing you Chameleon, what would you charge? Probably $150 to do just a windshield. Because it's a different material and will sometimes come with a little bit of a learning curve. If I just completely screw up the piece, then like probably not going to charge you anything to waste your time or whatever. But you're not going to get any type of a discount with me installing another film. It doesn't work that way. Not saying that you were looking for that, but $150. It's going to be basically the same price of a regular windshield. With no warranties. This is slidey. Did you use a plotter for this one? No, not yet. We're going to try it out for the back window, but only the back window. The ones I meter at Sunday, meter at 30. Our meters could be like slightly off. Mine say 28, so that's within a little margin of error right there. So close enough. Somebody asked me if they thought these windows were sticky. Your microwave is done. Yeah, it definitely sounded like that, for sure. All right, we're just letting this tack up. I rolled it up, and then I put it back down, and I noticed that the whole thing skewed. So, just making sure everything lines up nice. What should I do if I lock myself out of a customer's car? Call a locksmith? First, maybe see if the customer has a spare key that they can just swing back by the shop and like unlock the car. And then if they don't, I mean, sucks to have to admit, like, oh shit, I locked myself out of your car. But accidents like that happen. But then you're calling a locksmith or something like that. There are those kits where you can like put an air thingy and then sneak something in, but generally that's what a locksmith is going to do anyways too. So you could try it yourself, or you could hire a professional. Don't do it. Don't make that mistake. When I roll the window down, sometimes I'll cut the film and the bottom will end up misplaced. Yeah, your pattern is shifting. So when you're cutting your patterns, something that you can do is tack them down between every cut. And it gets a little tedious and annoying to do. But at least that's what it sounds like. So you put your film on the glass and then tack it, make your cut, spray a little bit behind it, shift it over to where you need it, tack it again, and just keep doing that. Because what's happening is your pattern's shifting around while you're cutting it, and you don't notice it. And then when you go to install it on the inside, everything's wrong. Unless you just don't know how to shift it, but that's a whole nother thing. Always go in from the passenger side if you try and get in yourself. Yep. Yep, I can agree with that one. If you're gonna screw up one side of the car, don't screw up the drivers. Have you tried opening? What? Have you tried You have to try to open the door. Like, people can still lock themselves out of cars. Like, that's still a thing. And then plus people get older cars that weren't smart enough to where you couldn't lock keys in the car. I'm always paranoid. So what you'll see here is always at least one door always open. Doesn't matter if the car is locked or unlocked. It's always open. I don't care. I either have the keys in my hand. I'll either have the keys in my hand and then I'll shut everything, but I will like double and triple check so many times to avoid doing that, because I've done it a couple of times. And then I've had other people accidentally do it on a car I was working on. End of the day Saturday, ready to go. Yep, just finished up this car. Cool. He shut that door. Everything was locked. Well, looks like we're staying after hours to try and get in this car. Man, that sucked. Is it true? How's the photo? Oh, photochromic tint? Yeah, we took that off a while ago. It didn't like the heat. So on a hot day, you leave your car sitting out on a parking lot, it was clear, which doesn't make sense for heat rejection film. Heat rejection film that didn't like heat. And then the next question was, is it true tinters don't like to teach others how to tint? Yeah, because it's annoying. Why am I going to teach you how to take my job? Look at it like that. Like, you're when you're asking another tinter how to tint, like, this is, there's nice people. They're in my group. They're in this channel. They're more than willing to help people. So no, it's not just it's not everybody. It's really not anymore. But it used to be a lot more than it was. And just look at it this way. Why would I teach you how to take my job? I have to slow down. It costs me time. It costs me money. And at the end of it, like, you're either you're creating like local competition that way. So that's the way a lot of people look at it. So yeah, people, existing tinters don't necessarily like that idea. So the kind of an interesting byproduct that doesn't necessarily make sense is, or that wouldn't first come to mind, I guess, is when you start teaching more people how to do it, it starts to create more demand for it too. There's more people doing it. There's more people doing it. There's more awareness created for it. There's more than enough work that's really out there for everybody to do. I mean, just look at the number of cars that are sold every year. There's more and more cars sold every year. They all don't have tint on them, and you're there to kind of fill that void. And what's crazy is, you know, for some, it's a race to the bottom and it's price competition. But for others, they're not worried about the competition down the street doing it for a little bit cheaper than they are because they bring a better service and a better product. And they charge for it. And there's been more awareness I've seen. There's been way more awareness for better films lately than there ever has been. Where if there was only a handful of shops just tinting, they don't push it forward at all. They just keep coasting and doing what they're doing. So competition breeds a better marketplace, a better industry. It forces people to up their game and do better work. And it's been really cool to see the community pick all that up. It's a slow upward climb, but man, it's been cool to see. So that's why I like doing it too. Is like, it's not just bringing down the whole marketplace, although some people look at it like that way. Some people sit there behind the keyboard and they're all grumbly about it, but I've seen really positive things come from it. the average consumer just doesn't know, and I don't expect them to know. But for people that are actually interested in learning about it, it's there. Super. Thank you. I'm almost 60 when I grow up. I want to be a tint guy. Hey!
Daniel Rayner super chatted $9.99. Matt, is your software compatible with Apple iMac or yours is Windows 10? I have a new iMac and just got my Jaguar plotter but not compatible to Windows software.
I got my new oh, huh. That's a good question. Check with Plotter Depot and ask them about Mac support. They did mention that. I hope both. They did mention one of the versions was Mac compatible. At least that's what I caught. I'm back into the whole plotter thing, but I don't know what would be supported on Mac versus PC. But it's one of those things where if you got more popular things are generally supported on Mac or on Windows. It's just that's just the way it's been forever. So it's nice to have one, but most of the time these softwares are just made for like Windows. So just check with them though. They'll be better to tell you. Plotter software. Thank you for the 10 though. I hope you get it figured out. It's one of those things where you don't necessarily know until you get too far into the weeds. We're just a little slidey, so I keep squeegeeing it down, and it slides a little bit much. So warm those top corners up, get it to tack down. Cool, it's not moving. Now we're ready to go. This one's called the hybrid. It's got blue on one side, it's got orange on the other. Both sides are great. One's supposed to be harder than the other. They're both just really good. Very, very smooth squeegee. It's expensive, but I like this one a lot. I'm learning a lot from your videos since I was starting my business. If I make any mistakes, I come back to your channel. Oh, that's cool. It's a great resource to have. I appreciate that. There we go. We have 4 doors all tucked. This was a 1 o'clock appointment. We're doing the full with the windshield. It is 2:45. So we started about, I think, 1:30? What time did we start? Somewhere about there. I don't know how long we've been streaming. That always takes me a minute to get going. Yay. Hey!
Christopher Ramirez super chatted $4.99. When dry shrinking a back window, do you have to draw the H pattern with a damp cloth before laying the tint? That's what my teacher said.
Good question.
Embarrassed smiley face.
Embarrassed smiley face. Christopher, thank you for the 5. You can, and there's times that you want to. It more depends on the stickiness of the dryer sheet itself. Cannon. Hey! Look at that.
Daniel Rayner super chatted $4.99. What was the name of place for software?
Plotter software. I put a link in chat for you. Plotterdepot.com though. Check out that one. Let me know how it goes. So you can use Tint Studio and you can get film cut for free 30 days. So you could even try it that way too. But message their chat and see what's supported. But back to Christopher's super chat. Thank you. So when you're setting up a back window for shrinking, sometimes I'll do a wet line, and then sometimes I don't. But for the most part, I really haven't had to. It just kind of depends on how sticky the material is underneath it. So if it just like you put it down and it falls back up, then yeah, you're going to want to do a wet line. It just helps keep it in place more. You don't have to, but it can be a helpful thing. If you hang around long enough, you'll see it on this windshield, actually. I can talk about it more. I can do one side with it, one side without. I used to open the panels and remove the seal, then tint, but you helped me a lot without removing the door panels because it would waste a lot of time. Dang, look at that. Sweet. Glad it's working out for you. Okay, so I got to see what's available for this truck. Let me check the year. And then, oh, I just covered my software. There we go. Whoa. Whoa! Another one. Daniel with another 5. Thank you.
Daniel Rayner super chatted $4.99. Salamat Polol.
Pronounce it basically how I would. Salamat Po. Salamat Po. Thank you, sir. Salamat. Okay, so we already looked at these. Headrests, they'll come out really easily. The year, that's what I needed to check out. I needed to make sure that we, 1, shut off the vehicle, and 2, we looked at what the year is. So it's 0821. So this thing is brand spanking new. Woo! Look at that. Looks nice. Let's make sure this is all ironed down. Yeah, it looks good. I put seat covers over it, so ignore the white. He's got black seats. So right now you can see those seat covers in there. It'll look different when we get 35 on the windshield. And then take those off. So we have a desktop. Boom. 21. Tint. 21. Toyota. Oh, look at that. Tacoma Crew, Tacoma Extended. They better work. So they got the square, and they got the one with the cutout. That's nice to see. They have the whole slider, and they have them arranged every which way. And they also have a windshield with a little cutout right here. Interesting. Yeah, we're not going to plot that. We're going to stick to the back glass, which we're going to be using a 40-inch roll. So it's very simple here. It's not a one piece. We're going to take this piece, square. I don't think it'll all fit, but we'll see. Maybe it will. Take this one. Ooh, there's different sizes. Did you see that? Look. Slider left, power. This is a power slider. Nice. And then right power. Ooh, we go fit, boy. Look at that. Yes, perfect. More than enough room. So we'll space these out a little bit more. We gotta load in the plotter, and then we'll get these cut. 5. We're doing 5. Carbon 5. I think I'm running pretty low on this one. I do have an extra one, though, so that's a good thing. So this is a 40-inch roll, which lines up slightly different than a 36, which made for 40s, not 36s. Yeah. So I forgot. Which rollers are we doing? This one? Maybe? No. Still that one? Really? No, it's not. We go all the way here? Oh, it is. It's this far outside roller. It's like right here. Right there. And then we move this roller all the way to here, where my rollers are completely covered and you can't see it, but that's what she should do. Squeaky, squeak, squeak. And then enter, and then we're at 57. Let's just do 60. Why not? Let's click cut. Ooh, it's doing a thing. Look at that. Whoa, that was actually really close to the end there. So I put, oh my goodness. Uh-oh. Stop. Oh, no. Well, that was a little bit too much then. I guess we upped the pressure and we probably shouldn't have. So I've cut carbon, I've cut ceramic, and I've cut dyed film, and I haven't had to change it hardly at all. But that was not a very good thing. Yikes. So how much do we have left? We got enough. Okay, Mr. Plotter, thank you for ruining my day again. And then enter. Wait, let's move it back this way a little bit. And enter. And then we're going to put the force. 51. 54. What do we put it at? I don't even know. We're at 60. Let's just do 54. That's generally what we were at. I'm going to squeak these a little bit more this way. And then we're going to click cut. Let's try it again. We're going to have our finger on the trigger though. Shut it off in case it does anything we don't like. Oh, okay. Nope, we're good. So we're like probably right on the edge. So I really like to have separate blades for each one, like separate blade holders for each one of the things. Because there is a little bit of fiddly tinkering that you're gonna have when you're cutting every one of your films out on the machine. And we don't do it a ton. So there's bound to be these little mistakes here. But, you know, annoying when it does. How often does it do that? I've been able to, like, I've bounced most back and forth between the dyed and the ceramic. So I've only cut out the carbon, I think, one time. I just didn't remember where I had my pressure at. So it was as simple as adjusting the pressure. That's more of a user error than a plotter error. But you got to keep in mind, when you're switching back and forth, like some places that I like having separate blades. So on certain plotters, you can have presets that'll remember exactly where the pressure settings are. This one, I'm constantly fiddling with it, and I can make them like a little bit closer. I can make them a little bit farther away. I put it at 60 because sometimes the Pro Classic will snag just a little bit, and I figured this stuff would possibly snag a little bit more, but I should have gone the other way entirely. So lighter pressure setting on this one, much lighter pressure setting on this one. But look, it at least cut out good. So that's not so much a machine error. That one was a user error. I don't own up to that one. But you guys see, we do regularly run into little issues with it. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. I wish it was, but it's not. So this is for the passenger side. Really curious if this is gonna fit. I hope it does. If this fits, man, this will save us some time. Not quite save us some film because of what just happened, but you know, it'll save us some time. Maybe not as much because of what just, whatever. We'll feel good. We'll know if they work. Slight curve. You don't have to, but we like to. Just in case there was. Just a teeny tiny bit of shrink. Where are my windows? Can we put that down? Oh, there they are. That's easy. So what you really hope is after a mistake like that, you want to stop it as quick as you can, because your blade will start digging into the cut strip, and it'll start to dull out the blade real quick. So you make a mistake like that, you just hope it didn't screw up your whole cut settings, which looks like it'll be okay. We need that. We need a blade. And a little clay bar, which is over there. What? What kind of snacks do you keep in your tool belt? Oh, I just nibble on the tools. A little tri-edge in the morning. It's good. Maybe some little scrap ceramic tint pieces. Just nibble on those for an hour. So these are new, which is real nice, but an area where you can get a lot of dirt is going to be on little rubber sides like this that press really close to your film. This would be a good candidate for that little glue trick that was floating around. Because my solution to that is just use lots of water and spray all that out. Squeegee really clean. But sometimes you'll still have like little teeny tiny water trails. You just want to try and keep those as like dry as you can, because then you know you squeegeed all the dirt away and then spray them. And then go light on everything else. That way it's not dripping dirt into your film. And then hopefully this will line up. So otherwise for hand cutting it, what you would see is glass 8 on the outside, and then probably a light, because it's limo, and then just a little bit of tedious back and forth on the hand cutting, whereas with the plotter, we're crossing our fingers real hard right now. It's a power slider. Please line up. Please line up, Mr. Power Slider. Oh, no way. Ooh, dang. That's awesome. Yes. No gaps. Everything's covered. Nothing's too long, which I said, this is a real easy edge to go a little bit too wide on it. So they went a little bit taller on the top. About the same on the bottom. Yes. And we had good luck with the ram power slider as well, just the middle piece. So we might have the same hang up, which the middle piece, if we have to hand cut it, not a big deal. Less so of a big deal than these outside pieces. So the hard part is taken care of. Look at that. That's why we buy a machine just for that. Just for that right there. But you gotta think too, if you have certain windows, like the ones that roll up and down on, trying to think, Forerunner? Or, yeah, the Forerunner. Oh, and there's a Toyota truck. Isn't there a Toyota truck? What? Oh, there's two. There's the Tacoma and, oh, I can't think of it right now. What's that other Toyota truck with the slidey back window that goes up and down? Wow. The fly just fell. It was just spinning. No. Tundra. Duh. God, I can't remember the differences, or I can't remember one versus the other. Tundra. Duh. Oh, whatever. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Thank you guys. There's the Tacoma and then there's the Tundra. And for whatever reason, I think the Tundra is a little bit more complicated. Like the back windows I remember being a little bit more unique. The front windows, I think they curve a little bit more down in this area too. So Tacoma is the easier one of the two. I never hardly get them. Snack book. Other use for glass aid. Dude, I was gonna grab a tool and then just like I needed something with some weight. Just boom. There was like a stream that happened weeks ago. Or I guess a couple months ago at this point. We had a fly on like the outside of the windshield, and then ever since it's like I let that one live. And then I think he invited a fair amount of friends over, and then we just have like random flies that we have to deal with. There's like no food here though, so I don't exactly know. They must be coming from like the neighbors or something. I have no idea. There's no snacks. Maybe they live off of ceramic tint though. Maybe that's why. More ceramic jobs means more flies. All right. Did you put the seat covers on the front? Yeah. Yeah, I found these really nice simple towel seat covers that wrap around the headrest. I really like them. They kind of sit in place. They're bright white. So they kind of brighten up the interior a little bit more. Like they just kind of wrap around like pretty much any headrest, and they just stay in place. It's just whoosh, throw them in. Nice. Like plastic seat covers are good, but they always like bunch up and fall all over the place. Like as you're kind of like scooting around. So especially with a full windshield, we're doing some stuff like that. That old man noise. Dang. Are we there now? I just got a minivan yesterday, so Bees fly into my shop. They like the JJ bait. Oh. I wonder if it's similar with the flies then. They like the smell. That could be. Because it sits underneath like the race deck. Interesting. Should spray a bunch of killer there then. Yeah, you know, my dad's shop, bees would fly in there around this time. Some years would be worse than others. But yeah, we like they kind of just go everywhere this time of year, but especially there, like there were a couple of seasons where it was just like we were killing them all day. Never had one fly into my tint though, thankfully. Need to get some some long socks and some New Balance shoes. Okay, I might have found the new age of New Balance shoes. That's like the old dad meta. The new dad meta is Skechers. I can show you. They're ultra comfy. They're super lightweight. There's no laces. And they're stylish. They got a few different looks. But man, me and my wife, we walked into the Skechers store and we walked out with like 4 pairs of shoes. We were like, these are the greatest things that we've ever seen in our lives. We wear like nothing but comfy shoes now. So nice. Oh, just a little. Okay, there we go. Want to make sure that there's no gaps, obviously, but this one I think is slightly potentially short. It looks like it's just gonna cover everything, but the other one was a little bit better. So that could have been from the waviness of the cut, like the machine itself. But we're so close, but we're good. Which is great, because any slight hairline gap with a back this dark is gonna stand out a lot. Plus, like, any light gaps, unexcusable. What software? Plotter software. Sorry, I put a link in chat for you. Film cut. So use the Tint Studio code, and then you can try it out for 30 days, which I think is a super awesome option, because, like, why not? Software is expensive, and you want to know it's going to work for both your plotter and your shop before you spend any money on it and have to deal with a bunch of problems. So use that code, download it, try it out. And then, better yet, you can let me know how it's working for you. And if it's garbage for my community, I'm sure as hell not going to endorse it. How do you get to a SUV sunroof for heat shrinking? A ladder? Yeah, kinda. Ladder, you step up on the sills here. There isn't really a great option. Another thing that you can do is those, like, I don't know, these bench ladder thingies. So these are great. If you're doing Teslas, if you're doing transit vans, these are kind of a must. They're like, I don't know, these were like 50, 60 bucks each. Sometimes you can find them on clearance, especially around like Black Friday or something. They'll have some pretty good deals on these type of things, higher quality ones too. So just super handy to have. They get you up an extra like 1.5 feet or so. And they're perfect just to swing in. Like this area on like a transit windshield, I put one on both sides. I don't know how I would have done a Savannah van that I did a handful of weeks ago without those things. Super helpful. So with sunroofs, depends on the vehicle, but they can come in pretty handy too. All right. So last but not least, we have the centerpiece. And So far, we're 2 for 2. So let's see if this one's gonna line up too. And then we got a full windshield to do, and we'll be all set. Oh, dang. So it came off the machine this way. Part of the problem with the square pattern is if you start flipping it around a bunch, you kind of forget which way it's supposed to go. So, should be this way. Oh, I hate square patterns. Which way's top, which way's bottom? Should be the same. But you never know. Stay. Ooh, look at that. Look at how dark that is. Yeah, it's definitely taller than it is wide. Don't be scared, plot that shield. Yeah, judging by the windshield strip we had the other day, we're not going to plot the windshield. I don't know if I want to throw out that much carbon today. But that's with most. It's with most windshields. Sunroofs, are they a pain? Yeah, kinda. It depends on how much room you have to work with on the border. So we did a F-150 panoramic roof, and that one was pretty awkward because he was doing 70, but even then you still can't see your cuts very well. So most people I've done sunroofs for have either done 20 or they've done 5. And then it's just hard to see, even with glass aid up there. That helps, but lining up your cuts and everything, it's just tough. So on cars, they're not near as bad. It's just mostly on tall vehicles with tight borders. Does this have one? This one does. So we could at least look at it. We're not doing the sunroof, but we could look at it. I'm gonna get a small plotter for sun strips and windshields. Was hoping film cut was better. Yeah, me too. There's some that are like really good with it, and I hear they actually quality check all their patterns in-house. There's some things that have definitely let me down, so I don't use it. And when I say let me down, like most of the problems have been pretty minor, and I think they're acceptable for a lot of places. But when you have a live stream centered around like getting things extra particular and whatnot, you know, it's those little things we can't let them go here. Where in a higher production facility, you're kind of just going to be like, it's close enough, and you'll probably be fine. So it depends on your business. I don't really think plotters are very effective tools for individual tinters that do most things themselves like I do. You have your instances where this actually lined up really well. The top, the bottom, the sides, like this whole back glass, this is great. This worked really well. So I'm very happy with it. We don't have to redo anything. Yay. But like on the Rams, there was just like a slight gap on like the centerpiece slider. Everything else worked out fine with the back glass, but you're not going to see me trying it on every door window out there, just because that's not what we regularly do here anyways. Oh, I made a boo-boo. We should have had this prepped a long time ago. Oh, that's fine. It won't take long. Yeah, what's up with all the fries? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not. But somebody said the soap, so it's possibly that they just like fly down to the floor. So I have some bug spray for like, I had it for crickets that were along the back. I'm just going to spray it all along the bottom before I leave, and maybe that'll take care of them. I figured it was just like the season. They were flying in from outside, and then they'd be gone pretty soon. And then it's been a little while now. Yeah, but being not able to resize them to make them a little bigger is something I want to have. Also, cut return. I don't like that it cuts in both directions. Yeah, those are legitimate grapes and things that they need to add. I hear that they're working on them, but you're absolutely right. Those are some basic things that should have already been there. Because it's like, really? I can do that with literally any other software. Why can't I do it with this one? I don't know, but that's just the way it is right now. So if all it is a UI update and their patterns are really solid, then it's only a matter of time. But I've seen a couple of instances that are like kind of put some patterns on par with a lot of other companies. But there's been some things also that I've seen that it shows a lot of precision, shows a lot of care and thought. So those back windows on this one, I think it did exceptionally well. Really, really happy to see that. So as far as using this for truck sliders right now, that was like one of my main things that I wanted out of it. It's like, well, at least if this thing will work great for truck sliders, that'll save me some time. But if you're gonna buy it as a serious tool for your own business, yeah, it needs to do a little bit more. Is that a Tesla windshield? No, that's the Civic, the Type R back window. That was a big problem window for a little while. So we bought one to make it easy. Kind of want to get a Model 3 back window and just hang it on the wall. That would be a fun one. All right, so everything else is all set. Yeah, like I was saying with these seat covers, these things have been really solid. Look at how much they droop all over the seats. It's great. They just cover everything up. You just and then kind of stick. It's great. Awesome. So we got to pull this mirror. We got plenty of room to work with, to deal with whatever. And then we're going to glassate the whole thing. And yeah, very straightforward. Nice. What time is it? 3:20. We're doing good. Right on schedule. Thank you for doing the live streams. Helpful to see your process. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you for watching. When I was learning, even not learning, and it just tinting, I always watched as many people as I could. So helpful. Because, like, we may not tint the same way, and this goes with anybody, but I think you can learn something from absolutely everybody. Something small, something major, you never know. And then it's just like, okay, I'm going to add that to my process. That was super cool. Yoink. So these sides a little bit slimmer, but the inside I still have a good amount of space. Look at that. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Hey! Average local.
Swallow super chatted $4.99.
Swallow gang.
Average local $190 died with charging $200 died $270 carbon $350 ceramic a good.
Thank you so much for the 5. Average is 190, so you're looking to place yourself just a little bit higher than that. Yeah, it's worth a shot, for sure. I don't think you have to go any lower than them. I think 190 is more so it seems, you know, there's those like mental barriers there when you're up to 200 and over. That's why a lot of places would do like 199. And believe it or not, it really does make a difference. So if you're going to be at 200, sometimes it's good just to 199. It's like an annoying difference that most people like roll their eyes at, but no, it's legitimate. So maybe do that if you want to stay in that range. Yeah, that sounds perfectly fine. I don't know where you are, but you starting out with your pricing, if you intend to be there more long, like kind of start with where you feel like you want to be more long term too. Don't just like shortcut don't just short your business earlier on, because you kind of lock yourself into that pricing. So if that's kind of what you're thinking, like, hey, I'm pretty cool with that, more than happy, and I can run the type of business that I want, then sure. Thank you so much for the 5. Love the videos, the streams. Going to try and learn how to file edges, just up to the quality of tint jobs. Oh, that's super cool. Yeah, something that I probably have to figure out here eventually. You know, I saw a video of like shaving a top edge, and it seems like the main difference between what I was trying to do and what actually gets done is like pressure. So if you can up the, like this is with the blade. Dang, I don't even know if I can use this thing anymore. Oh, I like this thing, but I'm so annoyed by it. Do we have to go back? I feel like I have another good. Maybe we can use this side. Let's try this side. See, I wasn't kidding. This thing only is gonna last so long, but for the time that it does last, I really liked it. I just wish the quality was better, because man, it's thin, it stays out of your way. It's got that extra little water barrier there. It's really nice. But this thing is falling apart real quick. But I like just how much you feel like you cover everything up with it. Yes. Especially on this dashboard. Look at that. I like it. So we gotta pop this mirror out. That's a simple thing that we can do. He said, trying to find his screwdriver. Whoops. Hey, cool. That fell out real easy. Nice. I always like when that's a thing. Plenty of space. Good to see. We're going to leave this cover. That's where all the cameras and stuff are. Don't mess with those things. Just leave them. I mean, you could maybe pop a cover off, but there's no reason to on this one, that's for sure. Charge $300 for carbon for a sedan, but I'm in Tampa, Florida with an average income of $55K a year. Also, there's a lot that charge $150. Yeah, down south, especially Florida, there's a lot of aggressive competition. There's some good, what you got? Sun Solutions, you got Alligator, and of course there's other companies down there that are doing well for themselves. But they also go through their own slowdowns too. It's tough. It's tough to stand out and be a higher price tint shop in a market like that. But it's like anything, it takes time. All right, cool. That's pretty much all set, ready to go. That dried real fast. So we need 35. Probably a sip of coffee too. That's this guy right here. Whoa. Aha. It's heavy. That means that is new. Or like for carbon, we typically do 20, 35, or 20 and 15 and 5. But we haven't done, oh yeah, this. Let's put this back. Remember to do half each pattern wet and half dry? Somebody asked earlier. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I used to do it with a cloth is great. I used to just do it with my hand. I used to do it on every window, too. Now that I think about it. That was definitely a thing. And part of it really just depends on the film that you're using and just how sticky it is to the window. Ooh, going 35 on the windshield. I like that. We haven't done that in a minute here. 35. I don't know. Anyways. I haven't done, I'm trying to think of the last time I've done 35 on the windshield. Maybe it hasn't been that long. But 35 is one of my favorite. 35 is one of my favorite shades for a windshield, but it is one of those that, like, when you use it, it's like, but man, it looks good. Looks good, comfortable to drive with. It's heavy. Okay. So if there's one roll that always gives me a little bit of a hard time, it's a full roll of C2. C2 is a little slippery, and it's heavy. Stuff wants to, like, telescope off the roll real quick. So when you have, like, Pro Classic has just a little bit more static to it. But carbon, that stuff wants to run. Wants to run and run. Plus this windshield's a little bit more slanted. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're going to line this center. We're going to tack the middle, but we're not gonna put, like, we're just rough cutting it right now, so ignore wet line, dry line, purely for this, and then we'll do half-half, which you'll see it's not gonna make a difference, but it might make a difference for you, and I can explain. Oh no! Canon. I can explain why. And then, do I have to get new batteries? These things have been toasting out on me way sooner. Off-brand Sony NP batteries. They were good. They were good, but they're not so good now. So I'm glad I have two. Sorry about that. That means we got to go through the whole setup. Jeff has a great shaving video. I've seen it. It's good. Like, it's really good. And then I tried it, and I was like, I suck at this. I tried, man. I tried a bunch of times. It is just not an easy thing to learn. Not like that. Sometimes you wish you had a second hand to help you. Sure. But there's a lot of times that just don't have enough things for them to do in the background all the time. It's like little things that I know how to take care of myself, but it's one of those, like, we'll get there. We'll get there. And then I also don't want to try and find somebody. It's just work. My idea is to not work. Not work harder. All right, this screen will go black. Woo. And then boop. Sweet. All right, we fixed it. Yeah, that's happened a couple times, so I guess I got to order some new batteries. Like, genuine Sony batteries, I think are going to be like 60. Off-brand ones will be 20, but, I mean, they're going down in lifespan real quick. So what's the difference between cheap batteries and expensive batteries? Lifetime. Oh my gosh, it's just like anything. You learn as you go. Cheap tint, expensive tint, cheap this, expensive that. I know we got to tack it still, so hang on. Hold your horses. It's not a lot of shrinking of this one. So you get what you pay for. And there's probably a channel out there that talks nonstop about battery quality and then would look at my channel and then go, see? That's what happens when you cheap out. It costs you more in the long run. Now you gotta go buy expensive batteries and you're out on the cheap one. Just like film. There's a big cost associated with bad film, though. That's what it's not just about getting a cheap product. It's the expense of having to take off that cheap product and then get it redone too. So it's like way more expensive. Trying to market myself as a high school student tinter at the moment. Shops in my rural suburban area don't need extra hands until business really picks up around the summertime, as far as I'm told. Yep, you're absolutely right. It's hard to get a job at a tint shop. It really is. Or sometimes you just find the right circumstance. But there's a lot of them that, like, you know, when summertime comes around, they can use you all day. When wintertime comes around, you're just extra cost. Okay. So we're gonna get right into this very small difference here, and it doesn't really matter a whole lot, and I'll explain why. So we have our film kind of sitting on the glass, and we're gonna do one side dry and one side wet. So not wet shrinking, but the H pattern. So when you first put the film on the glass, it's gonna look like that. So you need to create an H pattern, and that's line here, line on the side, but not so much on the sides, and we'll get there. So you're distributing your film like 50-50, because that's usually the best spot to shrink your film. Is put an even amount up here, even amount up there, and then everything will go nice and smooth for you. So I'll take like my hand first, and then I'll just kind of drag it along the film, and what I'm doing is kind of just pulling it this way and trying to just get it to all lay flat. And so that way everything is just evenly distributed up and down. So you can like pull on it, tug it, and just, and then you can tack it down. Now, depending on how sticky your film is with like your dryer sheet or dry shrink prep or whatever you have underneath it, sometimes you'll have to do this wet because you like pull a line, tack it down, and it'll just start to float back up. So this is really depending on the film that you use. So you can lightly tack it on the sides for if we're going over just kind of what an H pattern is. I'll just lightly do it on the sides. And then if you want it to really stick, your film isn't grabbing that glass at all. So people do this with like a wet towel. I've always just wet my hand, and then you get the same effect. So you pick the film up, wet line, right down, and then same thing. Drag your hand, stretch that film, and then tack it down. So that's really the only difference there, is this here is going to be way more stuck to the glass than the other side. So you shrink it, do everything normal. This will just help secure it in place. So that's a kind of a long-winded explanation of what you're doing. So half-half, we'll see a shrinking difference. No, we won't. But you'll be able to actually see me shrink both sides differently, but the results are really going to be the same, because with the film that I'm using and the dryer sheet that I'm using right now, they work pretty well together to where I hardly ever have to wet down any edges. But the shrinking is not going to look any different. It's only to get that film to stick, and then we're going to shrink up and down, and we're not shrinking on that line at all, and it'll just go down. No H pattern, no. So H pattern is just kind of what the whole thing is called, and there's a difference in kind of what people think an H pattern is and do, and what you really kind of want to pay attention to. So the reason why a lot of tinters will just say create your H pattern is because you're just trying to create a lot of, you're trying to organize everything. You're trying to put an equal amount at the top and the bottom, but you also want to kind of direct things from not shrinking on the sides. So when you take this loose material and it's all kind of falling this way and you just try and shrink it, sometimes you'll create a pinch here. So you kind of just lightly direct it up, and then you're not dealing with any of that. So you don't need to hard tack it down to the sides, but you do need to tell it to always go up, if that makes sense. Because you can shrink right on the edge and not have any problems, but there's a fine line between putting heat right here and trying to shrink one of these things out sideways and getting the film to shrink upwards instead. So you're going to move the heat just a little bit more inward, but you don't necessarily have to tack it hard to the glass to get it to shrink well. So when you do a hard lockdown on the sides, a hard H pattern, I think I might even have old videos of me just doing that in my videos, because it's an H pattern, that's how you do it. What I didn't realize until later was you're kind of putting yourself in a difficult situation. So you can still get it shrunk, but you're just making life harder on yourself. Sorry, this one's a little awkward to try and show everything, but so if I do a hard H pattern here, and I go like 4 inches or 3, and lock all my film down here, look at all this that has to be shrunk now, and I just screwed myself out of this much real estate. But when you lightly tack it down, now I can shrink out to here, and everything will be okay. So that's kind of the difference there. But we did a wet line there, and this side isn't going to look any different from the other side because all the rest of it's dry. That became a Very long-winded topic. But there's some layers to it. So better explanations on what H patterns really even are and what you're doing with them. And then also, like, if he's going to put a wet line down the middle, why is he doing it that way? Totally fine to do. It's not going to mess with anything. And in a lot of cases, with certain films, you need to do it. But with this one, I haven't had to. This is like a Snuggles sheet, and C2 Carbon, Pro Classic, or Pro Nano, all of them have been equally good. So, something I forgot about, but I do it without even really thinking about it. Because sometimes you need a little water to grab the film and hold it in a spot while you're shrinking somewhere else. So, it's a little bit like use it like a temporary glue, but it's not really glue. There we go. You shrinky dinked. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. If we make it into a video. I guess we got to do that again, right? All right, now we got this squiggly mess. And then we go here, and then we go here, and then we go here. All right, let's come back up this way. I heard a ding. I don't see a thing. So that corner, that's going to be annoying. Got to shove all that out of the way again. Yay. Oh. Light chat, or is there software? Canon. Oh no, it is. Cool. Well, at least we don't have any problems. All right. Let's pull that glassade. Oh, should have gone the other way. It's all right. Hello. I was wondering if my chat bugged out. It's quiet. The soothing cutting of the windshield. So yeah, last thing, whenever we finish cutting everything, I go over the edges a little bit. Just helps things not pop up in the inside. Basically make like a relief cut. when you finish cutting out the pattern. So anywhere that was shrunk past that line is kind of holding your shrink all together. Yeah, no joke. That's okay. That's how it goes sometimes. It's interesting to actually not have crickets this time, though. Whew. Sprayed a bunch of stuff and then they went away. But when I first moved in here last year, I didn't even think of it. They just showed up out of nowhere. What are you going to do with the new van for Tint? Boiling egg annealing with jalapeno. Ooh, that's going to be good. Thank you, Paul. So on the van, I don't know yet. I'm leaning towards like 50. We go through phases. So we've had 50 on like the Blazer for a long time. And then to like see it clear again is like, maybe we should just do 70 on the van. And then so I was driving around without the windshield tinted for a couple of days, and then we had a few really sunny days. And then I'm like, no, I gotta tint it darker. I don't know. So probably similar to the Blazer, we'll do like 50 on the windshield, probably 35 on the front doors. Ceramic, of course. And as far as the back, I don't know, because they're taller windows. So we're either gonna do like a 20 or a 35. Probably just gonna do a 20. But there's times at night. So it's a family vehicle. It's a family vehicle, and being that it's a little bit bigger, I don't want it to feel dangerous for like changing lanes or anything. So there's times where doing 20 over the back, it's gonna be a little bit. It's a little bit. Do you pull the vehicles outside, double inspect for dirt specks? You see more natural light. Yes, and not as much. So I'll still pull it outside and I'll give it a good walk around and see if there's anything to touch up. This is very unique lighting for any type of a shop. So what I've effectively tried to do is create like a cloudy daylight in here. And man, you can see a whole bunch of stuff with overcast weather. So that's what that lighting is. So it still helps to bring it out, but it depends on the day. Where this is like all day cloudy and gloomy and sad. It works really well for cameras too. It was a big challenge trying to figure out good lighting to where you can see what's going on, and just putting bright lights on your ceiling doesn't make good light. It just makes bright light. So if you have like something nice and even and white for all that to reflect off of, you'll be able to see way more. So big white walls, big white ceiling. It's the best thing that you can do. You don't even need a lot of lights at that point. But my ceilings are really tall, and they weren't white. So I had to try and like create a white ceiling in here. Big. So I got a big old diffuser, which works really well. Oh, this side. What do we do? It's like, I think I can keep most of this out of the way. Kind of like a surgery room. You know, I've actually never seen a surgery room. Is that what they do? Well, I know they have like the big like spotlight things. But as far as like the rest of it, big, tall, like white everywhere, white walls. Like, maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but I've never had to be in a room like that yet. I want this to go away. Maybe we can just push it down a little bit more. Ooh, that'll work. Trying to keep those corners to just stay out of the way. Towels are great. But I guess you could say this is the tint surgery room. I should take off my tool belt. Should have done that already. There's that. Where's my... There's the side of it. Ah. Let's go. Big squeegee, big squeegee. One, two, three. Yeah, we're doing good. What time is it? It's 3. 4? Is it 4? Wait, it might be 4. I just looked. It's 4. Yeah, it depends. Sometimes we do afternoon, sometimes we do early morning. It really, it's up to the appointment. So if we do an afternoon or we do an early morning, it's just kind of whatever fits better into the live stream. Sometimes I can get up earlier, and then it's like, ooh, that'd be a really good car to stream. Let's do that one. I'm pick and choose, figure out what works best. No, stop it. Kind of just want that to go away. Too tall. There. So we don't have a bunch of water kind of washing down into everything that we just pulled. That space right in the middle, when you're doing like peeling half your liner to do a reverse roll, be careful about that area. Because everything can kind of like funnel to it. off like the top of the windshield. So keep that spot especially dry. So I start when you're done. Sounds like it. Opposite sides of the world. What site did you, or who made your website? So I put my business site together off of Wix. And I've messed around with Squarespace a little bit, but I'm more familiar with, what was it? Messed around with there's a handful of reasons for a couple of different sites. And I was really impressed with Wix's page builder. It's a lot more drag and drop friendly than most site builders that I've seen. So you kind of start out with like a template, and then you can build into that template, but you can rearrange widgets on pages. And as a business, like a local business, just a little bit, there isn't a whole heck of a lot of specialty things that you need to do. You need business info, you can have your pricing, you want lots of pretty pictures. So what I looked for was more of like a gallery template. And I still think mine looks a little cheesy local business site, but yeah, I ended up doing that all myself. There's companies that'll do it, and then there's also like marketplaces that have people that'll do it. So like you can find people off of Fiverr that can put really nice looking template websites together for you. And that's really not a bad option to go with either. Somebody that just kind of does it regularly, I found like shopping direct for companies that do that kind of stuff can be really expensive, and it doesn't need to be. The days of custom websites are not needed as much. Unless you have some incredibly unique project. Most everything is template. PRECUT website. But if you know how to do it all, or like if you take it upon yourself to like learn how to do it, the nice thing is when you have to change stuff, it's really easy because you already know how to do it. But if you always have to pay somebody to go in there and fix it, it's like, But Wix was really user-friendly. Alrighty. I think the last thing is just to make sure that's all snug. No towel in the way. Ooh, I think we got it. Yes. All our edges, nice borders. We're completely covered on the bottom. Yes. Good, good. Thank you. You're welcome. So I also take deposits through that platform too. They have like a booking section. And I really haven't messed around with a lot, but I kind of liked the idea of not having people go off site. So when somebody lands on my site, I have like a real rough calendar set up. So they call me and talk to me first, and then I quote and schedule an appointment day. And then I shoot them a link to the booking page on my site, and then they fill out some information and leave a deposit. That's been really helpful for a couple of things. One, getting a deposit, so I know that I have somebody that's going to show up for the job. And two, like, thank you, customers, you make my life easier. So instead, like, I can literally be in the middle of tinting a car. I shoot them a message with just a couple details about the appointment, and then they go and fill in all the information themselves. So sometimes, like, you know, phone calls, the quality isn't as good or whatever. 781. I don't even know. Go away. Sometimes the quality isn't as good. And, you know, you're trying to understand what they're saying for like an email address or whatever, so you can just send them a link or whatnot, or take down that information real quick. Because I used to send deposits to like people's emails, but what I found is you just send them to a site and then they put all that in yourself, or in themselves, and it saves you a little bit of time. And when they actually leave a deposit, that's when they're actually serious about the appointment. So I've had people tell me, oh, yeah, I'll leave a deposit, no problem. And then they just never do. And then I never hear from them again. Well, if I had to write them in my book, spend extra time, I don't want to do that. So it helps keep the calendar really easy. And then I can worry about everything else. Some small improvements that I'd like, but it's working pretty good. I have it linked up to TintWiz too. So like when I check somebody in, it pops them into TintWiz so I can finish their like invoice and stuff. That's been really helpful. That was through their Zapier connection, which I don't even know how many people use that, but it just happened to mostly work for me. I hate today. I have 3 dreaded Toyota 75 Cruiser Troop today. I'd have to look that up. I didn't even know what that is. Doesn't sound like fun. Dang. I've had those days, though. I sympathize entirely. I'm glad I don't have that day today. Like, some people will tell me, like, I get a conversion van today, and I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. I hate doing those. All right. Well, we will go over this with a fine-tooth comb here, but I don't want to say things too quickly or anything. But dang. Whew. Okay, this looks... Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it looks good yet. Make sure it's good. Getting deposits is a game changer. You know, that's I'm glad to hear that. I had a lot of debates about deposits with another company, and I see their point, and I don't think they were wrong. But what I didn't understand is deposits for some companies are really effective, and for some companies it's not necessary. And there's like a few stages in your business where deposits you don't really need them. I've talked about this a little bit before, but I think I understand just the whole spectrum a little bit better than I did. So if you're running a really tight ship and you don't take on a lot of clients, so you got to book people a little bit farther out, I think deposits are really helpful because they weed out the customer that is like, oh, I need them done today. I got to have my tint done today. Weeds out that customer entirely because they're not going to wait a few days and leave a deposit. Most of the time they're not. Sometimes they call back in defeat and they're like, man, I couldn't find anybody to get it done today. Okay. Ooh, that's followed up by a really good question. How did you introduce deposits to your customer after going without them at the start? That's a really good question. So I'll get to that part in a minute. Where they're less helpful is like if you're kind of like a higher production shop and you're just churning out a bunch of cars, you have a big customer base, your phone's ringing like all the time. So it's more like you're writing people down, but you have other business that'll just like walk in the door that wants to get it done. So you're kind of like an all-encompassing shop. And it's all about like what you have in the background to compensate for like what doesn't actually show up. So you could have a day where you have 3 or 4 people not show up and you don't even care because you got so much other business. You're like, wow, cool, I'm glad they didn't show up because we had all this other crap that we had to do today. So if anything, it worked out in my favor. Sometimes when you're slower, that might not be super great, but you know, you have those times. I've definitely encountered them. And there's places that have just been in business for a long time. Tint shop, or not entirely a whole tint shop, but they have a big customer base, and you know, they're not the busiest with tint work necessarily, or like they don't book 100 cars in a day, but you know, same thing. They have people that they can call down, or they have enough unique work to keep them busy, and it's just like, whatever. That's just how business goes. So there's definitely 2 sides for it, and the longer you're in business, the less I think that you really need them, because you have a lot of people that are contacting you all the time for tint work. But a lot of the time in the beginning, your phone call number 5, 6, 7, you're new, people looked on maps, you don't rank as high, you don't have enough reviews, you just have people that are calling all over the place, and then you don't even realize that you're getting phone calls from people that have already called 6 or 7 other shops, maybe even scheduled an appointment or 2, and they're just looking for the cheapest place that'll get them in now. So deposits will 100% weed out people like that, and they'll save you a bunch of time. So somebody asked, like, how did I introduce them? I just did. Like, I literally just, like, I went from not doing it to, like, telling some people, like, hey, yeah, I take a deposit on everything because, like, it's just to ensure somebody holds the spot, and that's all. And if they're pretending like they're going to take the spot, then they're probably going to agree with me on leaving a deposit. So then it's like a put up or shut up type thing. So you send them a link, and if you don't get a deposit from them, they're never going to show up anyways. Then they call you the day of, like, oh man, can I still get in? It's like, sorry, I'm booked. We got to do this a couple days in advance. I actually had that with unfortunately a former client. He called me at like 12 o'clock on a Saturday. I had tinted a couple of cars, he said, of his. And then I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to do the next one. And he's like, can you get me in today? And it was a Saturday. He was calling at like 12:30. And I was like, man, I'm sorry. I can't get you in today. And then I told him I could get him in on Monday, though. And then he's like, I really wish I could have got in today. Okay, thanks anyways. And so he didn't leave a deposit or schedule anything for Monday. And then next thing I know, he's calling me half an hour before the time we talked about on Monday. He's like, oh, hey, can I get that in still today? And it's like, no, somebody else has it. Dang. So it's like, it just... I hate dealing with the super impulsive, because it always seems like it's never, there's always some caveat with it. It's like the car is weird, or they're running late, or everything all of a sudden becomes super urgent, and that's just not the type of business that I am. But yeah, I really I wasn't doing deposits, and then I had enough no-shows irritate me to where it's like, dude, I'm sorry, I got to take deposits. And then I haven't had any pushback from anybody that has legitimately wanted to book here. They're just like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand. People don't show up. So most of the people that come here tend to be, I guess, a little bit more patient. patient and like do a little bit more research and like kind of understand that this isn't just like necessarily a half-hour in and out place to get tint. And if they want that, they're more than happy, like they're more than welcome to go somewhere else. I just don't cater to it. So I, like the instance with that guy, I had to stick a little firm. It's like, man, I'm sorry. I just, like, that's not how I did your first cars, and that's not, unfortunately, how I can operate as a company. So while I'd love to make some sort of special exception, I just, like, I'm literally in the middle of other stuff right now. I can't just drop it and do yours. But, so for some places, it'll be helpful, and for other places, it doesn't really make sense. But if you are newer, you don't need, like, I don't know. I think it's a good thing to add to your business. It's not like a make or break thing depending on how you intend on running it. It is just one of those things where it's like, hey, I don't know why I'm getting so many people that are scheduling with me and then they're not showing up. It's like you're just another tint shop. And you either need to lock down those people to get them to not shop around and make a commitment with your business, or you need to have so many more people that can walk in the door in case somebody does. So then you're just not wasting a lot of time. Did I put these in wrong? Are these supposed to go like this? I swear, like, that makes so much more sense. I think I did that on another one. It's like, they're not going back. So they have these little, like, they'll fold down and then they'll do that. There we go. So, that kind of, one last thing I kind of want to mention about that is, like, I feel almost the same way with pricing. I think, so you're going to have people that are going to refer other people to your business. And, like, some people wonder about, like, changing pricing and stuff like that. I think you can just do it tomorrow and not have a problem. You might have one or two people that, like, bring up what you charged them last time. And if you want to honor different pricing for those people, then by all means, go for it. But, like, I don't think most people are paying hardly any attention to your business until they want to go get their car tinted. And if price was never like a huge thing with your business anyways, like, you know, you charge reasonable prices and like you just, then like you could raise it tomorrow and everything is like, you know, when somebody calls to get a tint job, what is the first thing? It's like just like a mechanic shop. They call and what is the first thing? What make and model is your car? Okay, I'll check the price. So there's a lot of jobs can be very vehicle specific. You charge more for this car, charge more for that car, for whatever reason. So I don't know. That's more on like feeling than anything, but I mean, somebody will come to get some work done, and like if you hover around I mean, it's not like you're jumping up from like $100 to $300. You're catering to a whole different clientele at that point. But you know, if you're talking about like, hey, I'm tinting cars for $200 and I'm thinking about raising them to like $250. Shit, I think you could just do it tomorrow, and the occasional person might mention something, but I don't think most people will notice. I just don't think they're paying that much attention. Or it's just like, well, you know, prices go up, or, oh, you know, it's a different vehicle. It's just, that's what it is. If they liked you as a service, then, and you have to charge more to keep your service, then, I don't know. I don't see a problem with it. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe more people do, but I'm betting they don't. It's hard enough people to get to watch a free video, let alone memorize your pricing. Dang. This looks good. But, you know, if you live stream and broadcast those prices, maybe more people will know about them. All right, I'm going to take this out so you can see how dark this is. I finally mastered snap shrinking. Congrats, that's awesome. Some people want to know the secret. They think it's just practice, but that might be me. Woo! I want to take a picture of this thing. This looks good. This turned out real well. So, 5 in the back, over the factory. So you just, I'm trying to see through it. Dude, I can't see anything. 20 on the front doors, which see silhouettes and stuff. 35 on the windshield. So being that everything's tinted, it just looks more darker. But like if you're out in the sunlight, you could make out like the dash a little bit more, like the immediate things, right? But with it being so much darker in the rest of the cabin, it's harder to see all that. Oh, I like it. That turned out really nice. I think you'll be happy with this one. That windshield turned out, I'm really, really happy with some of these windshields lately. I don't know what I'm doing extra, just a lot of practice. I haven't had to touch them up, like pull anything out really of many windshields lately. I don't even know. Just done a lot of practice, trying to be extra particular with the cleaning, I guess. But they've been turning out good. Canon. That was cool. Glad it turned out really, really nice. Zap shrinking changed my life. Yeah, really, it's a really helpful thing. It's quick, it's simple to do when you kind of know what you're looking for, and the way that it holds the film down, it's almost like stretching a fabric to like something. It's got that little bit of a to it, where when you're shrinking individual fingers, it's not quite the same thing. Shrinking full stop changed my life. I started before. Oh, dang. Then eventually we'll get like shrink. Shrinking changed my life. And then somebody will be like, changed my life. That's pretty bold. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out for this one. Hope you had fun. We have to shout out some super chats, like always. And if there's any last questions, feel free to fire away, but I think we answered a fair amount of them today. Big thank you to Swola Gang, Daniel, Christopher, Daniel, and Washington. Much appreciated. Looks sick. I was the one that posted your plotter shot. I appreciate that. There were like 3 posts really quickly, and like one of them stuck. The rest of them got drowned out pretty fast. I guess that's the way it goes. But yeah, thank you. That was really funny. The looking at the replies to that one, man. It's all right. I gotta wrap this up. I gotta deliver this vehicle, but like 2 seconds. Oh, is this Tuesday? Is this Tool Talk Tuesday? Oh my God. All right, I'm going to have to send you guys over to Sun Distributing too, so I'm going to bring them up. You guys gave them a lot of love last time.
Can't hear me.
So I'm going to copy their link. I'll be hanging out over there while I wrap this one up. But I'm going to pop this in here. So if you want to watch more Tint live streams, check out Sun Distributing. We happen to be streaming at a very similar time frame, so that's cool. We can throw some people over there. I guess I could show you guys really quick too. Right? Is it? Yes. So this is Sun Distributing's live stream. I don't know what their topic is today. Oh, mouse, can you
I'm going to make one minor adjustment.
Tool Talk Tuesday. Oh, there's a Fusion giveaway. So they were going to give away some Fusion tools. Last stream, we were talking about that. People were winning some tanks and stuff. So that's going on right there. Where is my main? Anyways, was there anything? What were we talking about? Shit, I forgot. Shrinky dinks changed my life. Nice. Oh yeah. The plotter. The post with the plotter. There was I don't know if I'll be able to find this post. Window tint stuff. Wait, that's a Civic quarter? That's a new Civic hatchback quarter. Wow. Why even? I like my group a lot. They make me smile. So if you have questions and stuff off stream, this is a great place to go. Window tint stuff on Facebook. We had somebody using a file today, and I was scrolling to try and find that post. There's a lot that goes on in this group. Where is the post? Oh, I don't know. Anyways, there was a lot of comments. Oh, there it is. Okay, we did find it. I just have to read a couple of these really quick. So we use plotters, and then if you guys remember, we were playing around with the plotter to see how it worked with the windshield strip on the Ram, and it was just way short. Like, this was for a different cutout entirely. And then it was just like some comments. If you can't afford to plotter, just say that. That was funny. Must have been film and vinyl designs. And then, why do people leave the matrix clears? Did Matt get a plotter? Can't be. Yeah, there were a lot of responses. Like, it must be earlier on. If you can't afford a plotter, just say that. Oh, yeah, there were just some that were really funny here. I'm trying to find what they were. Maybe they had already been removed. I was watching this class. I lift a lot. I have a plotter, never used it for strips. Looks like the passenger side and the driver's side got mixed up. Lazy installer. Like, they must have been removed. There were a handful of comments that were like, why would you even use a plotter for that? Lazy installer, blah, 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 blah. And it's like... no idea. Oh, was that really? Sorry. I thought I was on there. Wow, that was just a big waste. Anyways, this was the post. So the windshield strip was like way short. And then yeah, there's a lot of funny comments in the group. I thought I was on the group page. I'm so annoyed. All right, whatever. I'll link the post too, maybe. But this was from the last live stream. How do you do that? Copy. Oh, I think you gotta right click here. Copy link. And then we can paste it here. That one. That was a good post. Thank you for posting that. And then also, if you guys want to check out Sun Distributing's live stream, there's a link for that too. That'll be there. All right, I gotta catch this guy out and deliver this because he's been very patient and waiting, and I don't want to make him wait too long. I posted that first. I know, and I feel bad. Like, 3 people end up posting it, and Facebook picks a random one, and then like that one starts to take off. That was kind of funny to see how that all worked out. But yeah, there were some comments that were just like calling me a lazy installer and stuff. It's like, I don't know how many times I prefaced it in the stream that we were just like playing around with it and gonna see if it worked, and then it just no. But man, good stuff. Can't do anything fun these days. Alrighty. Well, I will see you guys either tomorrow or Thursday. We're gonna stream the van, and we gotta do some like ceramic or something on it. That'll either be tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not sure yet. But I gotta get going on that one. So thank you guys for hanging out. You all have a good one, and I'll see you then.